Alright guys, I'm back again for my next section. So I'm going to get straight into it. Still not, can't go in the cupboard yet. I'm not low enough down, so I've just got to take a few out at a time. So first up is Creep. One of that like trampy old guy what lives down underneath the London subway who's killing people. It's like a 3D sort of cover for that one. Next is Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing in the old Creep in Flesh, which is a good one. I like anything with those guys in. Next up is Creep Show. That's the one with the little segment stories in. George Romero, Stephen King. This is number 1. Next is the Blu-ray for Creep Show 2. I enjoyed Creep Show 2. I think I probably enjoyed 2 better than 1, to be honest. Really weird because Arrow's just going to release the Blu-ray of this now for some unknown reason. I don't see any reason why. But there you go. I like 2. Creep Show 3. Can't remember Creep Show 3 very much. So there you go. Next up is Cry Wolf. Now I can't remember this one whatsoever, so I can't say an awful lot about that one. Next up is Hammer Curse of Frankenstein. Excellent one. Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing again. This is the DVD. This is also out on Blu-ray. I don't know why I didn't get the Blu-ray, to be honest, when I got this. This is like the one... This has had footage put back in it now. A couple of scenes which was originally cut out, which they found, and they put back in to make it a little bit more complete. Next one is an old one, The Craft. It's okay, not too bad. Then it's Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. This is the US DVD. I'm pretty sure this is on Blu-ray as well now, actually. Not too bad. Next up is one of the Dawn of the Deads I have. I showed you the Blu-ray before. This is, I think this was the Dutch one, if I remember rightly, with the director's cut and the Argento cut in. 2 DVDs in a box, if I remember rightly. Yes, with a booklet in there. Trilogy of the Dead. I always kept that one. Don't know why, but it's one of my favourite zombie movies ever. So I keep anything on those ones. Just another Dawn of the Dead again. A couple of documentaries on there. Like I said, I tend to keep the Dawn of the Dead stuff. Next up is the Dawn of the Dead remake, which is excellent and rated the US DVD. Do rate this one a lot for remakes. Excellent remake. Just actually watched it again recently. Day of the Dead. This is like a remake of the old Romero Day of the Dead. It's just a UK DVD. It's okay. The zombies are a bit strange in it. They actually crawl across the ceiling in this one, which is a little bit far-fetched, but never mind. Day of the Dead 2 Contagion. That's like 2 movies on one disc. To be honest with you, can't even remember it. Let's put it this way, it probably isn't that good. So next is the 88 Blu-ray release of The Dead Next Door. Can't remember this one. To be honest with you, I think it's still sealed. I don't remember it at all, so it probably isn't that memorable, to be honest. Dead Snow. I think that's the... I know it's... I think it's a foreign one, actually. I know it's not English. I can't remember who made it, but plenty of gore, like a zombie one. The Germans, soldier Nazis. It's okay, very gory. And they did the sequel, Day of the Dead... and there you are, not. Dead Snow 2. Red versus Dead. Like, I'm getting confused with like talking about Dawn of the Dead and that. I'm getting really confused now. But exactly the same as the first one. That's Dead Snow 2. Plenty of gore. Next is Deadly Friend. Very early movie by Wes Craven. Well, early 80s, I think, if I remember rightly. I do like Deadly Friend. Pretty good, actually, for some unknown reason. Still doesn't have a UK release. This is the US DVD. One of those titles, you know, that just never seems to come out on the UK for some reason. Next up is Death Ship. Another 80s one, George Kennedy. It's okay, not too bad. A couple of those sort of ones on ships around. Got Ghost Ship and all that as well. But this is a little bit better than Ghost Ship. Next is that Delamore. I don't like this film whatsoever. Everybody raves about it. It had a Blu-ray release over here recently by Shameless, but there's no chance of me bothering with it. I thought it was pretty rubbish, to be honest with you. I bought it wondering what all the fuss was about, and then as soon as I watched it, it was like I probably shouldn't have bothered to have even paid any money for the DVD, to be honest with you. Next up is The Demons, Jess Franco one. This is the UK Blue. I can't remember it whatsoever. Haven't seen it since the old VHS, so I can't say too much about it. Next up is, actually I'm going to have to go with the first one. The Descent, UK release. This is the one when the girls go down in the caves. There's those like creatures down there which live in the dark. It's okay, that's The Descent. And as I picked up just now, The Descent Part 2, basically virtually the same. When the girls are in the caves, I think it's another group of girls go down there. Exactly, it's very similar to the first, but it's okay, not too bad. Next is Devil's Rejects, which is probably one of my favourite Rob Zombie movies. Up there with his, obviously I liked Halloween as well, what he did, but I do rate Devil's Rejects. It's the best in them of that particular series. I think there's 3 of these altogether. It's definitely the best one. This is the US DVD unrated one. I know it's out in the UK as well, but very fond of Devil's Rejects. Excellent movie. I've seen that on a big screen when it first came out, and so did I with this one as well. This is George Romero's Diary of the Dead, one of his Dead trilogy films. It's okay. I didn't like it too much. It's one of those movies what they shot on like a camcorder sort of thing, and I've never been a fan of those. But you know, I got it because it's part of the set. This is the US Dimension Extreme one. Next is Deep Star 6, US release. I think somebody's picking this up on the UK soon. I've seen something or other where it's coming out on Blu-ray. So I might pick that one up actually on Blu, because this is not the best of quality. It's obviously the first release on the US. I quite like the undersea monster creature films. There's a few of them around, like with Leviathan and stuff like that, and a couple of other ones. But it's one I might upgrade with the Blue. Oh, and speaking of those creatures under the sea, look, there's another one. There's Deep Rising, very similar, when there's like creatures under the water. I think this one, they was on a big cruise liner, if I remember rightly. But like I said, I do like the undersea ones. This is just a UK DVD. Next is like more of a comedy horror, Doghouse. Can't remember it very much, but I guess it's not that memorable. Next is Dog Soldiers. I do like this one. Great werewolf movie. Wouldn't mind a nice Blu-ray of this. This is just the US one, but Certainly could do with a decent blue release. I don't know if they ever have released a Blu-ray in the UK. You'd have to check that. But I do rate Dog Soldiers. Definitely worth having. The next is Don't Torture a Duckling, which is a Lucio Fulci's film. And to be honest with you, this is the UK Blue by Arrow. I cannot remember the movie, so I can't say too much about it. But that's the UK Blue release. Next up is Doom Asylum. I actually recently watched this one a couple of weeks ago, and I must say I wasn't impressed. It's the Arrow Blu-ray release. The cover actually makes it a lot better than what it is, but I thought it was pretty tame, to be honest with you. Next is Doomsday, which is good. Bit like it's like a virus. What comes and everybody gets turns like zombie type. It's beginning to remind me a little bit of what we're all going through at the moment, except we're not turning into zombies. But there you go. But I do rate this one. This is Doomsday. It's like a British title, so it's pretty good. Next up is Dorian Gray. I think this is a remake of an old black and white one, actually. I don't mind this one. That guy who stays young when all of his friends grow old. But it's not too bad. It's quite a good take on the story, to be honest with you. Hammer one, Dr. Jekyll, Sister Hyde. Like I said, massive fan of Hammer. Always have been. So, lots to say. Good movie. Next is another Vincent Price one. Dr. Phibes Rises Again. I think my last video I was the first one with the abominable Dr. Phibes. This is the sequel. Vincent Price. Next is another one of the old ones, Amicus one. This is Dr. Terror's House of Horrors with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. So like I said, anything with those guys in, I want it anyway. Just the UK one. Next up is Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee for Dracula, the 1958 one. This is the UK Blu-ray. Excellent movie, one of my favourite Hammer movies. This is the one when they found some extra footage and put back in. Excellent. One of my favourite Hammer horror movies, and a great title to have. That's the 3-disc one as well, so it's pretty damn good. Next is Dracula 2000, like a spin-off, like a Dracula movie, vampires and like this day and age. Okay, on that one. Next is another Hammer one, Dracula AD 1972. Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee again. I'm picking this up on Blu-ray, son. They've just released it again on Blu. They've just released it on Blu in the UK recently, and I haven't got it yet, but I'm definitely going to be upgrading on the Blue of that one. I do want to upgrade on all the Christopher Lee Draculas onto Blue. I've got a few of them on there, on Blue, and the rest of them I'm going to upgrade as soon as I can, but that's definitely going to be one coming up soon. And this one as well, Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, another one of the Christopher Lee ones, Dracula, excellent one. I think this is only available on US Blue, so I might hang fire on this one for the moment because they're beginning to release a few of these. So I will wait for a bit before I have to upgrade on that one. Another one I upgraded. This is Dracula Prince of Darkness, which was the second one in the series. Christopher Lee again. This is the Blu-ray release. This was I think there was a little bit of footage put back in this one as well, if I remember rightly when I read the back. Not so noticeable as Dracula, but I do like that one. Drag Me to Hell, which is okay. Dressed to Kill, excellent one, Brian De Palma one. This is the US unrated version, so the best one to get. I'm pretty sure it's uncut in the UK anyway, so should be easy to pick up. Vampire one, Dusk Till Dawn, good movie. Eden Lake, excellent, well worth the watch. The Erotic Rites of Frankenstein, this is the UK Blue uncut. I can't remember it, so I can't talk about that one. Next is Evil Dead 2. Alright, not too bad. Better than 3. Evil Dead, the remake. Excellent. Lots of gore. Excellent. Could do with a nice Blu-ray of that. But I do rate that one. I've had a lot of people slag it off, but I like it. Eyeball, 88 Blu-ray release, very old. I can't remember it very much, but maybe it's okay, maybe it ain't, I'm not sure. Eyes of the Stranger, Eyes of the Stranger I should say, this is the US release. I don't know if this is available in the UK, but I quite like this one. Fade to Black, quite an oldie one, certainly needs a decent release. This is a terrible release, and a lot of people talk about this one, that it needs a good release, but nobody ever seems to pick it up. So that's one maybe Arrow or 88 should think about releasing. Next up is Freddy vs. Jason, one of the Friday the 13th movies towards the end. Excellent title. Big fan of Friday the 13th. And here's the Friday the 13th, number 1 to 8 on the Blu-ray. Excellent. Big fan of the Friday the 13th movies. Always have been. Seen most of them at the cinema when they was first released, including the first one way back in 1980. But do rate the Friday the 13th. This is the Blu-ray edition. The remake, Friday the 13th, Killer Cut, as they called it. This is a US one. I do rate the remake as well, so that's good. This is, I'll be honest with you, I've not watched this one yet. This is like documentary of the Friday the 13th movies, like a 3-disc thing. According to what I've heard, there's hours of stuff on there, so that's one I maybe watch eventually. But it sounds like it could be fun, so it'd be one I will get into. Next is H.P. Lovecraft's From Beyond. Same guy who did Reanimator. This is the unrated US version. Pretty good one. Next is From Hell, like a different take on Jack the Ripper. And then From Beyond, or so I say From Beyond the Grave. One of those little hotels. I think it was Amicus did this. I think it was, I can't be sure. Loads of little horror stories all in one, but it's a good movie. I like those ones from that era. I have to move a little bit now. Final Destination 1, okay. Final Destination 2, probably the same. Final Destination 3, basically exactly the same. Final Destination 4, which is supposed to have been in 3D. Well, it was when I watched it at the cinema. And Final Destination 5. Not much to say on these. They're all the same sort of stories. Some kids see a premonition of what's going to happen. A load of people get killed. So it's all the same. But that's about all I've got time for today. That's took me from C up to F. So I will do another one shortly and carry on from exactly where I've left off. Thanks for watching, guys, and leave any comments down below. Thank you for watching.